Good morning!
I'm your radio teacher,
I am your science buddy.
and I'll give you an exciting lesson that you'll surely enjoy.
Talks Radio. Education must continue.
Learning is a great avenue.
No one will be left behind. With new normal comes new learning.
New method, new way of understanding.
Keep on learning.
Keep on achieving.
There's no way of hindering.
Enriching one's strength.
This is
Talks Radio, your number one source of science education.
Conveying a half an hour of quality scientific teaching on air.
This is
Talks Radio.
How does it feel to go outside and feel the rays of the sun? What about enjoying the soothing water drops every time it rains? Does it sound interesting? Yes, it's really cool. Later, we will relate those experiences to our topic, which has something to do with the different seasons we have here in the Philippines. By the way, I will be your science buddy for today, Teacher Sharon. So, be prepared as we explore the world of science in a bit. Are you really excited for today's learning?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow! That sounds cool. Give yourselves an amazing hooray for that. Just a reminder, you really need to listen to our broadcast so you'll learn and appreciate more how amazing science is. Can I count on you for that?
Oh, yes.
That sounds amazing! Another thing to remember is you can note important details as well. So, at this juncture, I hope that you have with you now your self-learning modules or learning activity sheets, science journal, and ballpen. Let's take a look with our previous lesson. Do you still remember it?
Oh, yes.
That sounds great. What was it all about then? Very good. It's all about enumerating what to do before, during, and after earthquake and volcanic eruptions. Since we were able to recall it, let's see then how well you've understood it. I'll be giving situations and all you have to do is to identify whether the situation can be done before, during, or after earthquake. Let the question and answer begin. For the first item, make sure you have a fire extinguisher, first aid kit, a battery-powered radio, a flashlight, and extra batteries at home. Correct! The right answer is before. Next item, stay calm. If you're indoors, stay inside. If you're outside, stay outside. Did you just say during? Then you're right. For the third item, learn the earthquake plan at your school or workplace. That's right. The answer is before. Moving on with the fourth item. Check water, gas, and electric lines for damage. If any are damaged, shut off the valves. Check for the smell of gas. If you smell it, open all the windows and doors, leave immediately, and report it to the authorities, and use someone else's phone. Exactly! The answer is after. And for the last item, don't use elevators. They'll probably get stuck anyway. Absolutely! The answer is during. Well, same with volcanic eruptions, we also need to remember the actions we need to do before, during, and after. Were you able to answer the questions correctly?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
sounds amazing! Congratulations for your fantastic performance. That signifies that you really understood our previous lesson. You're now ready to begin another learning session. So, let's get started. Have you ever wondered why other countries have 4 seasons, unlike here in the Philippines where we only have 2? Want to know the reason why? So you better listen attentively, okay?
Okay.
Do you know that the Earth's axis is tilted 23.5 degrees? This means that the Earth does not stand up straight as it rotates on its axis and revolves around the Sun. Instead, it leans over a bit. As the Earth revolves around the Sun, some areas of the planet experience various changes. This may include changes in temperature, length of day and night, and amount of precipitation, such as rain and snow. Sounds interesting, right?
Yes,
For
ma'am.
instance, when the North Pole tilts toward the Sun, it is summer season in most part of the Northern Hemisphere. During this time, the Northern Hemisphere receives the most direct sunlight and experiences little to no precipitation, rain, or snow at all. Daytime is longer than nighttime. On the other hand, when the North Pole tilts away from the Sun, it is winter season in most part of the Northern Hemisphere. Remember, period of the year characterized by particular weather patterns and daylight hours. Seasons follow one regular pattern within a year. The Earth's tilted axis and revolution around the Sun are the causes of the seasons experienced by people in certain parts of the planet. Unlike the places mentioned above, the Philippines has 2 seasons only. What are they again? You're right. They are wet season and dry season. Why do we have only 2? This is due to the fact that the Earth's tilted axis does not affect the amount of direct sunlight it receives from the Sun. The seasons in the country are caused by its location on the equator and prevailing winds. Since the Philippines is located just right above the equator, where can we locate Philippines? You're right. It's located just right above the equator where it receives direct heat from the Sun throughout the year. This is the main reason why we experience relatively high temperature, high humidity, and abundant rainfall year-round. The Sun's heat also speeds up the evaporation process in surrounding water bodies. This results to infrequent to frequent rainfall all throughout the country. Another fact is the northern monsoon and southwest monsoon also contribute to the seasons in the Philippines. This prevailing wind blows consistently in a specific direction and period over particular areas in the country. Another amazing fact, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember that wet or rainy season takes place from June to November. This is characterized by frequent rainfall, which may bring flood to the lowlands. Typhoons often hit the country during the season. Since the southwest monsoon or hanging habagat brings warm and moist air, rains become heavier and typhoons get stronger during the wet season. Hanging habagat blows from the southeast portion of the country and causes rains in the western portion of the country. Do you think the season affects our activities as humans? Definitely yes. People also prefer to serve and eat warm food as well as wear thick and long-sleeved clothes. During the wet season, people do most of their activities indoors. When going outdoors, they usually bring umbrellas. When going to outdoors, they usually bring umbrellas and raincoats. On the other hand, the dry season takes place during the months of December to May. This is characterized by less and infrequent rainfall as well as dusty soil. During this season, some of the crops die due to insufficient supply of water. The dry season is influenced by the northeast monsoon or hanging amihan that brings cool and dry air. Hanging amihan blows from the northeast portion of the country and causes slight to moderate rainfall in the eastern portion of the country. What activities do you suggest that can be done during dry season? You're right! The dry season is the best time for swimming, flying kites, and biking. Drying of crops under the sun is usually done during this time. People wear loose and thin, light-colored clothes as well as shorts to feel comfortable during hot days. Cold foods and beverages like halo-halo, ice cream, and fruit shakes are usually served during the season. Another fun fact, kids, the change of season in the country is studied and monitored by the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA. This government agency likewise monitors and informs the public about weather disturbances. To sum up what we have learned, Philippines has two seasons, the dry and wet season. Let's remember that seasons affect our activities in our everyday living. There are certain activities that could be done during wet season, just like planting crops. People also prefer to serve and eat warm food as well as wear thick and long-sleeved clothes. People do most of their activities indoors. When going outdoors, they usually bring umbrellas and raincoats. During the dry season, it's really the best time for swimming, flying kites, and biking. Drying of crops under the sun is also done during this time. People wear loose and thin light-colored clothes as well as short to feel comfortable during these hot days. Cold foods and beverages like halo-halo, Ice cream and fruit shakes are usually served during this season. Were you able to remember it?
Yes, ma'am.
That sounds cool. Now we will have an activity. Just simply identify the season that each sentence signifies. Let's start. For the first item, the rain starts to fall frequently. Farmers begin to plant their crops. People prefer to wear thick clothes and eat warm foods. What season do this event indicate? Very good! It's wet season. For the second item, this season is characterized by frequent rainfall. What season is this? You're right! It's wet season again. Moving on with the third item. Which season is characterized by infrequent rainfall and warm temperature? Definitely, it's a dry season. And for the last item, which season takes place in the Philippines from December to May? That's great! It's dry season. How many correct answers did you get? That's really cool. I'm really certain that you learned something a lot today, so we will now have our short quiz. You should have with you now your science quiz notebook or journal and ball pen. Listen carefully to the instructions. Draw 2 columns and label the first column with wet season and second column with dry season. Draw one activity that can be done during each season. Below the drawing, describe your favorite activity in one sentence. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Good! And while doing your activity, here is the theme song of Radyo Eskwela.
Tayo ay mag-aral sa loob ng ating tahanan. Sa radyo ay mag-tune lang, tiyak ika'y may matututunan. Pagkat sa gitna ng pandemya, tayo pa rin ay magkaisa upang masigurong bawat bata ay pumapasa. Kinabukasan, ang pag-asa ng ating bayan, isa pusong pagkatuto nang matupad ang pangarap mo. Pagkat sa gitna ng pandemya, tayo pa rin ay magkaisa upang masigurong bawat bata ay bumabasa. Gamit ang ating radyo, pakinggan at unawa.
Let's see if you were able to draw the correct activities. If you drew activities like planting crops, eating warm foods, wearing thick and long-sleeve clothes, doing activities indoor, and usually bringing umbrellas and raincoats, then you're right. For the explanation, if the sentence you wrote describes what you draw, then you've got 1 point again.
Yay!
For the second column, you're right if you draw these activities: swimming, flying kites, biking, drying of crops under the sun, wearing loose and thin light-colored clothes, as well as shorts to feel comfortable, and consuming cold foods and beverages like halo-halo, ice cream, and fruit shakes are usually served. The sentence you wrote must describe what you have drawn to get another point. How's your scores? Wow, amazing! Write it on the upper right corner of your quiz notebook. For your additional activity, just answer the activity on page 20, which instructs you to copy the table presented and put a check mark on the second column if the activity prevents ailments or harm to the body, and cross mark if it does not. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. There you have it. Another episode filled with learning, fun, excitement has been ended. Thank you, grade 6 learners, for tuning in up to this moment. Let's thank as well the scriptwriter for this episode, Miss Rachel Parr, and the whole SDO Isabela RBI production team. Once again, I am Teacher Sharon, your radio buddy for today. Goodbye, kids! Stay safe!
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela!